Captain by a hook with a red beard. Captain by a hook with a red beard.
Mother effing Friday, baby. Some say it's the best day of the week. I say Saturday is. It's Captain by a hook with the red beard, Rowan Donaghy, aka Rowan Dives. I was gonna say this till next week, but I did a little premature because I'm geeked. I started smelling the fresh grass and the soft leather gloves, pulled out my pack of Big Chew for spring training starting in 8 days from now. Well, 7 days. Starts next Friday. Spring training. I'm gonna leave the little guy knocked over because I don't feel like spending time putting them back together. Tiger Woods getting all the highlights. 3 birdies to end round 1. Tied for 27th. Tiger Woods, y'all. Anyway, without further ado, today we will dive into some madness talk. My man, Jaden Chandler Parnell is, I wasn't saying on standby, but I'm just going to bring him in and we can get to it. What's up, my man, Jaden Chandler Parnell from the JC Pod on YouTube.
And I interrupted your intro. I'm sorry, man. It was a little scary night last night. Wake up, I heard the sound of the hardwood squeaking, heard the sound of the ball dribbling. Woke up in a cold sweat. Football's over.
the madness.
As depressing as it is. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the badness or the sadness of football being over, but
Yeah.
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited. First episode all year we're talking about college basketball. First time, I'm coming on the show a little bit out of my element into your ball court, so I got a lot of stepping up to do, so I don't slack behind.
Oh man, it's
How you
all
doing?
gravy. You are one of the most brilliant sports minds I've talked to, and the last month and a half, I don't know how long you've been coming on this show, but we've been talking football, which, as much as I enjoy football and love football, I know nothing more than the average fan about football. I have a little more betting experience than the average fan, but as far as really just diving deep into strategies and things, that's why I brought you on. Um, I'm doing good, man. I'm geeked up. Yesterday, or Wednesday, it hit me like a ton of bricks that we are literally 2 weeks away from, right now, 2 weeks away from March 3rd,
Crazy.
which means we're 3 weeks away from Selection Sunday. Three
It doesn't
weeks.
feel real, honestly.
Nah, it doesn't,
I
man.
mean, I thought the NFL flew by. I mean, man, we're already into February. I have a friend, or not a friend, I guess technically, somebody I follow on Twitter who appears on the Pat McAfee show. He does the countdown for him. He already has it down to like I think it's like 202 days till football, and just like think about like time wise, like man, we're already in February. Like you said, we're 3 weeks away from the madness, and just shock is the way to put it, man. It just does, like, I can't even put it into words just how quickly the sports fly by, because you hit the dead period, I'd say, of like week 8, 9 of NFL, where there's like basically nothing on for bit by NFL, and it's obviously still fun and everything. But if you're a sports person who likes everything, it's kind of like, it is what it is. Then boom, it's like NFL playoffs, boom, madness, boom, NBA playoffs. And then it's just like they're all gone. So yeah, I'm gonna have to everyone just try to remember, enjoy the moments while you can, because you blink twice and it's gone, like you said yesterday.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It's people like you, not people like you, but football guys, they come into the madness in February and be like, oh, snap, I missed the whole season. Not that you haven't been keeping up and watching, but yeah, I mean, the season's been going on since November 7th. Uh, Luckily for me, I'm addicted to it. And I don't know if that's lucky or a curse, but as soon as November 7th hits, I'm like, I don't care about any other sport. Baseball just ended, which is my second favorite sport. I'm all college hoops. But the thing to me is, like, NFL is a 1 day a week thing. I'm not one of them
That's
guys
what
that like will follow it every day. Like I'm not gonna look at news on Tuesday because at the end of the day,
Oh
I
yeah,
can give a damn about the news on Tuesday, bro. Let me see the game on Sunday, and then
yeah. That's one of the. I sorry to interrupt you again, but that's kind of like that's the one thing I will admit. Like, obviously, you can't have football like eight times a week, or dudes will literally brains will be mush. But basically, yeah, that's the one thing that does suck. Is like I think it also helps it a little bit too because it builds the anticipation. Because like you'll get a game Monday, you'll get a game Thursday, but you get majority like, and usually they're going to change it a little bit. I think in this year upcoming, so the games are a little bit better. But for historically, you put the bad teams on Thursday or Monday night, and then the real games are on like Sunday usually. So yeah, the whole week of just learning like hearing smoke and mirrors from teams like, oh, this guy's hurt, this guy's really hurt. It's like, is he actually
yeah,
hurt? Is he not? And then it's like, oh, hey, the game, man, shocker, he's playing.
everybody plays. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just yeah, that's the only thing that sucks about the middle world. I will admit though, like that middle of the week can be fun if you find like the right things to look at, but it's just like that's usually only towards like the like till the trade deadline because obviously there's still like people who are open to move, people do that. But yeah, once you hit about like I said, that week 8, 9 lull, it's kind of like, oh boy, we gotta wait a whole 6 days till another game. Man,
no,
rough.
definitely. I miss when they had the I don't know if they how long they did this, but I remember one season for sure. Every Thursday night game was a division game, which added like a
Oh,
little.
division.
It added a little more to it because it's like even if you don't want to watch Browns Bengals, it's division. Or even if you don't want to watch Saints
Yeah.
Falcons, like it's division. It especially the more the season went, the bigger those games were. I don't know why they stopped it. I could be wrong about them even doing it, but I felt like one year every Thursday night game was a division game, and it was
I thought
more.
you were gonna talk about the color rush. That's what I
Oh
remember
yeah,
doing. I thought that was kind of a cool thing too. Even like, hey, like they need to do something more like that. I think like, hey, on the Thursday nights when we got these bum teams, like, hey, let's let them wear, or even like make it like you said, either make if they aren't going to make it like division games, which I wish they would. I'd be like, hey, let's maybe let's do like what they did. I was sad about it. I missed the chance to go to a color rush game, but I thought the color rush jerseys was a good idea. I thought they had something going with that, and then they're like, let's go back to
yeah.
Jets Browns Thursday night. It's like, oh, I can't wait to watch Zach Wilson throw 100 yards, and then Deshaun Watson, or excuse me, he who shall not be named, appear and just kind of throw for 50 yards and watch the ball get ran 500 times. But that's what we're in now, man.
Yes,
But
sir.
hey, it's not football season. We touched. I feel like
I know. I
we're
was
showing
just
a
about
little
to
too
say
much
let's.
love.
I was just about to say that. Let's jump into this madness, man. I know we got a couple things we wanted to talk about. I'm not sure if you have anything you want to talk about first. I have
Nope.
four teams that I think are in the territory of being fraud. We probably have some of the same teams on
I
here.
say I feel like we have two of the ones that we agree with because there's two I'm
without
staring at
even
my list right here.
without even talking about it. No, the first two teams I wrote down, I was like, he's definitely about to say both of these teams, and that's Indiana and Purdue. For some reason, it's all Big Ten
Hey,
teams for me because Illinois is the third team on my list. I don't know what's up with the Big Ten this season. I don't want to say it's one of the worst seasons they've had in a while, but it's definitely a Big Ten schedule that's not. I don't know. I don't think anybody's scared of the Big Ten going into the tournament this year like they usually are.
I think I agree. I mean, it's just been like I won't lie. I don't know if it's just been this year or what. Like I haven't noticed it, but these Big Ten games, these last like few games were like fights and full out wars. I mean, like Purdue and Maryland was like high 40s with I think like under 10 minutes left or something. It's like, what is going on? Like I know college is usually about like 60, 70 to begin with, but see the number three team in the country held the 40 and then another like team like that holding the and it's like the same with Michigan and Indiana. I don't know what the over under was for that game. I think it was like 137, something like that. They both have like 30 by half, finished the game 61-60 or like 61-60 like that. It's just that Big Ten, man. Like I don't know if it's like the no foul calls, everyone's looking for fouls, or what it is, but them boys are putting up a lot of shots and there is not a lot of scoring.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I thought you would be more privy to this being in the Big Ten region. That's what Big Ten basketball is all about, baby.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I feel like even like this year, I feel like it's like worse almost, and even yeah, I'm sure if I look back in history, like this would add up to like every other Big Ten year. But I don't know what it is, man. Like it just feels like this year, like the competitiveness in the Big Ten is like, I think that's what it is. Because usually you have those games like, oh, Purdue, like every third or fourth game will beat somebody by 30, but it feels like if they're the like number one team this year, even like Indiana the year they were number one, like they were rolling teams. It seemed like it's just this year feels like in the Big Ten, like you aren't walking past much of anybody. Maybe there's like one or two schools that you can walk by, but for most part, like it's going to be down to, except for Purdue yesterday against Maryland that and Northwestern, but it's going to be down to like the final 2 3 minutes, and it's going to be within like 6 7.
Man, it's
Man, I don't
crazy.
want to talk about these two games.
I know. I'm gonna get off of it. I'm just gonna say this.
Frustration.
I've been waiting all year for Purdue to fall apart, and right when I jumped on the train and the bandwagon, they said, "Oh, let's get it. Time to fall apart. He's on the side
Almost
now."
maybe let's get in the pure season form.
But I don't know. It is something in the Big Ten this season. They're lacking offensive players. Like, there's no offensive threats in the Big Ten. I mean, outside of Zach Edey, you could say Tracy Jackson Davis, but honestly, I don't think Tracy Jackson Davis is.
Those two guys don't shoot threes either. So they're literally like, I hate to say it, but they're like you said, they're the two best scorers, and they're limited to what 5-10 feet away from the basket, basically.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Edey or Trace take a jump shot all year.
No mid range, nothing. All Tracy Jackson Davis got is that little. He do one dribble with the right hand, and then he do like 6 stutter steps, and then he go right, and then he gets.
And then he sets up the spin move. I've been watching that too many times. Like, bro, I get he stutter steps, but let him do the hook every time. Why are you just giving him the free spin to the basket? Like, just the whole.
Yeah.
Just like,
No, it's hilarious.
yeah,
to
I
me.
got some post moves though. I'll give it to him. Like, hey, for only having a tiny bag, he can get in that bag real quick.
No, it works, man. Go to what works. That's what they say. The fourth team I have on this list is from the Big 12, which is I don't know if they're the thing about this though. Let me touch on this real quick. Like I don't think these teams are really fraud. I just don't think that they're ranked properly. I think they like Purdue being a 1 seed. I don't think is right. Indiana a 4 seed. I definitely don't think is right. And then Illinois as a 5th seed projected. I definitely think it's too high. But Kansas State being a 3 seed in this tournament feels like what the heck are we doing? I know they had a great beginning to the season. I know Keontae Johnson is balling out of control. But the fact that Kansas State is a 3 seed feels a little to me.
How do you feel about TCU being a 6? Does that feel a little accurate then as well, or is that a little too high? Because I'm seeing them with Rutgers and Northwestern. It's like I know TCU's had their guy injured, but like St. Mary's, Rutgers, Northwestern, the resume those three have put together compared to like no offense to TCU, I think TCU's done all right this year, but obviously this thing could be a little out of date too. And we still got some time. But I just feel like TCU did that injury. They have not been. I just bet them. I think the last like 2 or 3 games they've lost. I think those 2 or 3. So to see them at a 6 seed, that kind of caught me off guard.
Nah, that one slipped kind of
Same
past me. I ain't gonna lie to you. TCU definitely shouldn't be a 6 seed.
Kansas State at 3 is way worse though. By the way, I agree. I think they should be. I think they should be about a 6 seed at this point, just because of like what's been happening to them as of late.
Yeah, all this. I know we still got 3-4 weeks till they actually give the official seeding, and this is just projections. But the seeding definitely feels completely off this year. Even the fact that North Carolina is in the play-in, and I love North Carolina. I know you love North Carolina.
And them at 11 seeds, kind of like,
yeah.
see?
And I think that's the thing about it. It's like it's hard to judge this stuff because it's like they should be a 15, 16 seed, but then it's like that's where all the small schools go. Like the tournament would never, ever, ever put North Carolina at a 15, 16 seed, only because it'll make that 15-2 or 16-1 matchup obsolete as far as being a blowout. It'll literally.
Basically, no, I'm just trying to figure out. So, what's their cutoff then? Is it about the 13th seed? Or no, I guess even then that's smaller school too. So it's about the like 12, 11 is where they put like the big, I guess like the powerhouse schools that are like, hey, this is basically your last chance to make it in. I think that's the number, right? 11, 12.
Yeah, I think North Carolina's only hope in getting in this tournament is being at this 11 seed in the play-in. There's no way they ever.
That'd be a fun Wednesday night game though. Well, North Carolina versus like, it'd be like a North Carolina Rutgers type matchup. It'd be some school like that. Obviously, it's not gonna be Rutgers because they're unless something drastic happens. But or would it be like North Carolina? Just look at these like 11 seeds. Like they got like Memphis, Wake, USC, Clemson, North Carolina. Something tells me that like one of those teams are gonna end up playing each other potentially for the play-in. I feel like, depending on how the tournament goes. Obviously, tournaments could change a lot.
Yeah. No, I think Memphis should be like a 6, 7 seed. I think Memphis and TCU should be switched, actually, looking at it. Memphis should be a 6, TCU should be an 11. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Uh,
I'd rather see and they finally put Texas A&M as a 10 seed, but they weren't even in the tournament last week, like on the
Crazy
projections.
to think about.
Yeah,
They're only the number 2 team in the SEC.
right.
I mean, I guess it's not that much, but
By a
it's only
lot
the
though.
SEC, I guess. I don't know
Bro,
why we're being a little
SEC.
bit too dramatic. It's the only SEC. Like we got to relax. It's not like the Big 12 or the
And
WBCC or the SACCESC or whatever.
I
It's
ain't
only
gonna
the
lie to
SEC.
you. I almost thought about us doing that today. We ain't got time, but I think the SEC might be up there for best conference in college basketball this season.
No,
Um,
I think they definitely are. They have second most teams in the tourney as of right now,
nah, they're pretty deep, man. Yeah,
and they're competitive.
yeah,
Sorry
man.
to interrupt, but like, man, I just like, for example, that Missouri game against Tennessee, that was fun to watch. I watched Missouri go from up 17 to Tennessee, backs them all the way down to lose by half, basically like a half court heave almost. Like, man, the SEC has been like a wild, wild one to watch because it feels like I feel like them and the Big Ten are the most. I don't think the right word's reciprocal, but basically, I think they're the most mirrored. I think those two are the most.
Competitive.
I don't know how to look at. Basically, like looking at each other like this. I think they're the most mirrored because you see a bunch of similarities. Except, I think the SEC obviously has a little bit better scores and all that because I feel like
Yeah.
Big Ten, especially at the guard play. I feel like the Big Ten guard play, and like I would even put the forward in there, maybe like the small forward, not the power forward, but I feel like the getting like anything out of those positions from the Big Ten compared to the SEC is that part's not comparable, but everything else I feel like is.
Nah, SEC is definitely guard heavy, while Big Ten is definitely big man heavy. Them boys is corn fed up there, boy.
They are. They're some big, strong boys. I mean, Zach Edey said himself after, I think it's before every pregame, after every pregame meal before the game, he has to get himself some sushi. Hey, if you want to just become 7'4" freak monster, just eat sushi before or after every game, whichever one he said.
Nah, I love sushi, man. Love,
Oh
love
yeah, I do
sushi.
agree though.
Looking at this
Sushi ain't
bracket,
bad.
did you fill it out just for fun? Like this projections bracket?
Um, I
Get down
I
to you.
just didn't because like I won't even lie to you. Like the fact that we are like 3 weeks away, I thought about filling it out, but I'm like I'm just gonna pop on, look at some of the matchups, and just kind of like think ahead, like visually, like some matchups that like. I also kind of think I messed up the thing. You said how we were like five or whatever matchups we were favored for. Like I did it based on solely the first round. I didn't realize like sort of that we couldn't go past deeper. So a lot of my stuff's like first 2 days like tournament bus stuff to be excited for. Not I still have some Final Four teams obviously, but yeah, I ended up not filling out that bracket. I just kind of like spent a lot of my time on like the first few days, like trying to figure out like okay, who could potentially like, who'd be a fun matchup to see on like the first weekend of the event.
Yeah, I have five matchups I like to see, but I think they're all like Sweet 16, Elite Eight stuff.
So usually where the good ones are at.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I ran into Creighton versus Alabama. I ran into Gonzaga versus UConn. I ran into Virginia versus Arizona, Miami Xavier, and then Michigan State UCLA as some games that I actually hope I do get a
Miami,
chance to see.
Virginia.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
no.
sitting like I think I like. What was the first two you said?
Creighton and Alabama. Like
Ooh, that was the one that I heard.
Alabama
That
has,
one
yeah, Alabama has to be favored by like four in that game. But I like Creighton to win it. I don't know.
only four. I feel like they might be a little bit more because I look at. I mean, I know Creighton's good and everything, but I feel like some. And I guess it's like this is not me looking at the books. This is me looking at it from like a college basketball expert. I feel like it should almost be like maybe 6 or 7, just because of like the talent. I don't want to say talent discrepancy, but I think Alabama is definitely a bit more talented. But the more I talked about it now, I kind of thought about it's like they do have Kalkbrenner for Creighton, and I don't know who Alabama has like down low. They just got a bunch of tall wings. So you might be right. You might be right with that 4. I might be mistaken out of place, but I feel like it might be even a little higher potentially.
Nah,
Just because like
it's definitely
Bama,
possible.
I feel like they're gonna go with that name, but yet again, I don't know for sure.
It'll be a Sweet 16 matchup how it stands right now. So it'll be a Thursday or Friday on the second weekend of the tournament. I don't know. I can see
I was about
Bama being favored by 3.5 and losing by.
you definitely think both those teams are probably. How confident do you feel about both of them getting to the Sweet 16? First off,
Uh, nah, I'm not
like give it
confident.
percentage wise. If you think you like, if you, percentage wise, you think they could like, assuming that we aren't going to go with like any like crazy because they're a 5 seed, so I don't think they play anybody too crazy until the Sweet 16, basically, right?
No, I mean honestly, that 5-12 matchup is one of the scariest. Liberty
I
is a
lied. They got
scary
him playing
team.
Oral Roberts. Wow. If it ended today. Man, yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I do like that matchup though. I think that out of all the ones you said, I think the Alabama Creighton one as the I feel like everyone looked at it like kind of how I looked at it. I was like, oh man, that could be a blowout city. But I feel like that has like the sneaky structures to be a game where it's like you think Alabama should be up like 10 by half. They're maybe up like 5 or 6, like you said, and all of a sudden there's 3 minutes left in the game and they're fighting for that cover.
Yeah, I can see it being a Memphis Gonzaga last year. I don't know if you remember that game Saturday night in the second round.
I don't think I do, honestly.
Oh
I
my
know
God,
Gonzaga
that's one of the
won,
best
but
games I ever watched, dude. Memphis is up by like 8 at the half. Drew Timmy comes out like Larry Bird in the second half and takes over, bro. Like literally takes over. Drew Timmy, they don't cover though. I lost my money on Gonzaga minus like something crazy, -8 or something. But it was
damn,
one
I
of
might. Oh, I'm trying to think. Like, I feel like I do remember that game exactly. I just remember they didn't cover for sure. Because I remember I bet them not covering, and then I just remember betting them not to cover, and then I saw them win. I'm like, how? Like they were like down 8. It's just I don't remember, but or like what you said, they were down 8. I just remember them being down at like half, basically throwing the bet in the trash and watching them win and be like, I still can't even be happy about that. I don't think, but at least my bracket survives.
No, I put like 3 units on that thing, bro. I remember that game vividly. I also watched it again like August or something. I don't know. I had to watch it again. I was like, bro, this game is too good. It was the best game I ever watched, man.
I
Um,
just feel like I mix all these tourneys together. Sadly, like they're slowly like starting to get to that point for me where it's like the ones happened like 2015 to now they're starting to slowly just mesh. I'm sitting here, it's like, man, I can't believe Notre Dame made the Sweet 16. It's like, oh yeah, it's 2014. You
need a
need to
refresh.
wake up.
Yes, sir. Um,
No, I think
man.
I was gonna say the one I'm excited, like one of the few matchups. Like looking through this list, I would hate for this to be the matchup. It has like Duke Providence as like an 8-9 potential. I don't think how's the 8-9 work if they're in the South. I think they don't play each other, right? Or do they? Like for example, like Duke Providence would be like the South seed or South side of the seeding. So would they play each other 8-9? I
Uh,
think they would actually, right?
yeah, I know the one thing they try to do is they try to get teams from the same conference away from each other so that they're not running into each other in the first
Yeah.
and second round.
I was just looking at this thing. I was like basically going like 9. I was looking at my favorite numbers. I was looking at was like 7 through 11. I was like, okay, if I like move like one guy from this region there, like for example, there was a chance where like Michigan State versus Providence, which if that would be like Michigan State drop, I guess like dropping to an 8, Providence taking a 9. I'm like that wouldn't be too bad of one. I think my favorite I found though was I hate to say it, don't think it's going to happen, but somehow Providence goes to the 8 seed and UNC somehow collects themselves and finds their way to a 9 seed. I think that would be my favorite like 8-9 matchup going into the first weekend. I would love to see a Provi UNC game just because I think Provi could actually win that game. I think UNC would obviously be favored by like
Seven.
probably like 3-4 because of the Magic, maybe even like 7-8.
Yeah, I
Like I
think
said
it'll be like
last game,
minus
like
7 in the
something
hook.
like it could be something that big because everyone will look at Providence and be like, who cares? They got Andrew Baycott on the other side, but man, I tell you what, after watching this Providence team, I think I'm all in. I love them, but
I'm gonna tell you the
obviously,
truth. I love Ed Cooley. I got a Providence to win the Big East ticket. I got a Providence to make the Final Four ticket, and I got a Providence to win the championship ticket. I don't believe in them at all. Saying everything I just said.
yeah, I will admit, like I'm falling in love with them just because the past few years, like especially when Bynum's been there, this is like it sucked. I've been loving that dude Bynum for them. I thought he was an awesome guard, but last 2 years have been kind of for him. But I mean, I love the team just because of how many close games they've been able to win and come out of. But
That's all they do.
yeah, and their transfers. I think that I can't think of that. I think it's not McConnell because he plays for I think Nebraska or Rutgers, but it's some dude. He has the curly top in the back. I don't want to disrespect him, but he has a big old nose. I can't think of his name. I hate that I disrespect him like that, but yeah, I literally can see his face running because he had the Troy Polamalu hair with the
That big
sniffer out
nose,
there.
mother.
No, but he's a baller, man. Him and Hopkins for Provi have been. They made me fall in love a little bit. So I would love to see I just want to see games like that. That's the games that I've seen for. And then I did it on the other side for who was it? I think like Iowa. It wasn't like it was someone like Iowa. It might have been like Iowa St. Mary's or something like that, where I had like Iowa drop like a few seats, end up where they fall to where they're at the 11 seed playing St. Mary's in the opening round. I thought like that would be really really fun, but
That would be complete
I don't know how
opposite
realistic that
styles,
is.
like headbutting each
Yeah,
other.
that's what I thought would be like kind of cool. It'd be like, all right, that would be because I knew they didn't play like I said before the show. I'm not the most like college basketball person. I know it a little bit, but I don't know it the most. But I do think that they played like a little bit different. I would just love to see that Big Ten versus like a smaller conference clash and just see a real test because like I hate to say it, I don't think I believe in Iowa. Seeing them in a 7 seed is kind of like hmm, I don't. I think I'd rather have. I guess Northwestern's a 6 seed, so that doesn't really count. But I feel like I'd almost have like Wake. I'd rather have Wake Forest there at a 7 seed or something. Even and they don't even have a good resume either that much. It's all right, but yeah, I don't know. That's why I thought that. Yeah, I thought Iowa and St. Mary's would be like a really interesting and fun matchup to watch. But
No, no,
I
it
just got more
definitely would.
disgusted Iowa to 7. I'm just like I don't. I think
I
it's what got me the most. I won't even lie to you. Looking at some of these numbers, it's like I don't know if I like that school there.
Nah, yeah, that's the whole thing about the tournament. It's all about seeding. It's all about matchups. Um, I know experience wins when it comes down to the tournament. That's one of the biggest things. Give me a senior point guard over a sophomore or freshman point guard. But it's always the interesting debate of, like you just said, Iowa St. Mary's. You got a team that wants to score 80, 90 points, and then you got a team that wants to score 50 points. Like, what style do you, I don't want to say like more, but what style do you feel more comfortable with going into the tournament? A slow pace defensive team or just a running gun, shoot the lights out team? If we get hot, you losing by 20.
Man, hey, I hate to say it, but like the basketball player in me and the 2K player in me, I love the run and gun style. I love being able, hey, we get this ball, we're push it, like push, 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 push. Don't give them a chance to like react, but that can get your players tired. Obviously, they can get and obviously like 2K fashion, like it's a video game, they ain't like getting affected like that. But my personally, like if I could, I would love to I know it kind of sounds cliche, but I'm like more of like I would say like a mix of the two styles, but like not too strong in either. Like I would love if they get the chance, I would love to be able to push. But I would say like if I had to pick, you have a gun in my head, I have to pick. I'd almost want to say I'd like the slow style, but I would like it with like fast. I guess like fast moments in it. Like for example, I would love St. Mary's style of them, like where they bring the ball up slow and all that. But if they get like a defensive rebound, push it. But anytime they pass it in, it's like all right, we're changing the pace now. We're gonna make them set up and do all that. But I think I love I think the slow pace can kill you in the tourney, but I also think that it, especially for those running gun teams, I think it like can absolutely ruin them to be like, all right, damn, I just missed this three, and now I'm watching them walk back on defense. It's like, come on, I just want to shoot again. Let me shoot again. Let me shoot again. Then they get in their own head, miss another one. That's like, man, and then they're sitting back on defense for a full 20 to 25 seconds, and they get back, they get one shot. Like if you can hold them to one shot, I think, or one or two shots at most possession, preferably one as many times as you can. I think the walk up slow style pace can play well, but the only time I get scared of it is like if you face a team that likes it, like Iowa likes to run and gun. If they're hitting threes early and you're trying to walk the ball up down 20, it's like I don't know if that's going to work for you, man. But I think the soft style, not the soft style, the slow pace. I think the slow pace I think it does the best just because, like you said, for the run and gun, I think it just takes teams straight up out of the rhythm because there's only a select few of teams I truly feel like play that slow, walk the ball up, get in the sets, and slowly move pace. So when a team goes from like all their conference games, for example, like Iowa goes to Big Ten, who might not be the slowest pace, but they go from all the back downs. Like they like you said, Iowa likes to run and gun, but they play a lot of teams like to semi slow down, back down, give it to the big, shoot a lot of threes. But then yeah, they would play against St. Mary's where, hey, no matter what you're doing, we're walking that thing up. I don't know. It's really tough. Like I said, the person in me, like I love the fast offenses. I love watching and everything, but I just don't know how effective it is. It's because if you can take all those quick shots, but if you aren't making those quick shots, what are you really doing? You're just like kind of playing the other team's favor, letting them control the clock and everything.
Nah, a
It's tough.
perfect example of everything you just said is Tennessee, Alabama Tuesday night, bro. Alabama just looked like they were sick and tired of playing defense because Tennessee was just holding the ball for 25 seconds and then getting the offensive rebound and holding it for another 20 seconds. And then Alabama comes down in 3 seconds, shoots a three, bricks it, and then has to get back on defense.
Bro, that's a whole mental thing, man. Like you miss like 2 or 3 shots, you got to sit back on defense too long. Especially, I don't want to diss those young kids because I basically am a young kid, but hey, I didn't want to play defense either, man. Some of those kids, they out there just to get their scholarship and score 20 points. They don't care if they get blown by 4 or 5 times or box out anybody. So, yeah, man, that run and gun style. If you don't have guys who are like, that's another thing too that sucks about the run and gun is like, hey, if you're running a gun and you're basically having 2 guys, they're getting the rebounds at most. Usually, that's most times usually just probably one, so you can get all 4 out. But you got that slow style play, you have a better chance of limiting those teams to 1 or 2 shots. But man, yeah,
That's
you want to.
that's free
Man,
throws and boxing out, man. People underestimate that so much, but those are literally 2 aspects of the game that will win you almost every ball game. If you can make over 85% of
especially
your free throws and you box the F out on defense and grab the board, like you don't even need offensive rebound. Just grab every defensive rebound.
yeah, it's just the thing I've been noticing too. It's those I don't want to call them out, but it's those guards, man. I'm watching. As soon as they start boxing out, they're watching ball go up, and they slightly just shift a bit, and then their guy just comes swinging in, put back, windmill dunk, and it's like,
Nah, it's them weak side wings, bruh. It's the
yeah, they
freshman
just look
weak side wings, dog.
like,
On
damn,
every
is that my
team.
guy. All right, hey,
Cause
but yeah,
they just assume that that dude's gonna stay by the 3 point line, and they just stand there looking. And then next thing you know, the ball bounces a little too high, and they can't jump high enough to get it.
yeah.
But
Or you got the refs calling those bogus over the backs.
hey man, you gotta keep
Uh,
them in check. No, I'm playing.
I don't gotta get into that.
Now, refereeing is definitely becoming one of the biggest topics in sports, all sports. I don't know
Yeah,
what it is this season. I think it's because gambling has become worldwide, so now
I think
everybody's
so. I think
like,
every year. I just I didn't want to interrupt you, but I feel like this is obviously I don't appear on that many shows. You're the first one I appeared on, but just listening in, this is like the 4th or 5th show now in the last like 3 years where it's like I feel like this is like the most gambling's ever been, so the officiating is the worst. And it's just like I feel like it's just gonna continue to go, and it's just like sometimes it's just not even bad. It's just like partially like I feel like people just don't want the calls. First off, obviously, it's like man,
yeah,
oh I can't believe he called that against my team, but I won't lie to you, there are some refs though where I'm just watching. It's like can you just let them play? Like last night against the Purdue game. I mean, you look at Edie's arms, man. That dude is getting clawed on like he's a playground jungle gym, but they don't call anything yet. Sometimes, for some games, some dude just flops back like he got hit in there, and I mean, man, it's. I just think it needs consistency, especially in college basketball. But it's hard to do when you have 500 games a day and you got like 1,600 crews that are bouncing around. But I think overall, I think college basketball actually does like a pretty good job. Like, not to diss them, I think they do a very decent job of keeping under control. I think there's only been like of all the games I've watched, I think there's only been about 4 or 5 where I've been like, these refs might have a little money on the other team, but could just be because I was losing that bet. I don't know, but
no, I think that's what it is, bro. Because I'm gonna be honest, it's one game this season that I thought the rest had something to do with it. But at the end of the day, it's because you're more involved than emotions now. Now it's money, so every call is like, oh, he's taking money out of my pocket. I'm
no,
trying to get cereal for my kids. Like they get even more mad because they're invested financially. They got some skin in the game now. When at the end of the day, bro, I really don't think these refs give a hot ham, bro. They show up, do their job, and go home.
I don't think so either. I don't think they hold any grudges either. I mean, I'm sure some do. Like, oh, I'm gonna. Man, I can't wait for Zach Edey to come in. I'm gonna fuck him up tonight. But no, I think for most part, man, like they're just, especially some of those refs, especially if they're trying to like elevate, like go to the NBA or do other stuff. Like I think most refs are trying to put out their best film because I think they realize too, just as much as the college and football side, like it's a business. It's a business for them too, man. I mean, I know there's only select few in the world, but if you do a bad job, like they aren't gonna just keep you coming back.
No, there's only one ref I really despise with all my heart, and I'm not even gonna say his name. Little motherfucker, bro. I can't stand his ass, dog.
I got one for the NFL I can see clear as day.
But before I let you go, are there any games tomorrow, February 18th, that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, your boy definitely looked ahead at this. So let me just scroll real quick. No, I didn't. I won't even lie to you. I didn't. Kind of forgot to look, but I know there were some games I did definitely in mind for. One of them is Indiana IU, or same school. They play each other. They might as well at this point after the last game. No, Illinois IU. I'm interested in that one because I think these are. I didn't really step into it too much because basically, like, yeah, I have two of the same fraudulent teams you did. I agree with you, especially with Illinois. Man, I am pissed off at Illinois. I can't get a game right of theirs this season. I bet them one game they're getting blown up by 20. Next game they're beating some ranked team by 13. It's like I don't. I watched them going to like I think it was Nebraska or Rutgers. I forget which one. They're up 17 and a half. Watch them go on 24-4 run. It's just like, where is this? Like, all I don't know what's going on with that team. I don't know if it's like I don't know if they, like you said at the very, very early beginning of the season. I don't know if I think Brad Underwood's the coach, right? I don't know if they don't just like Brad or if it's just like, hey, some games we're just gonna. I don't know what it is. That I think that's a really good game just because it's Big Ten basketball. I could see that definitely being low scoring. And for IU, they only have Trace basically. I mean, I haven't seen much of Trace Thompson. They talk about how he's a big key to the team. I'm sure he's good for like defensive rebounds and everything. Like other than Trace Jackson, or as you like to call him, Troy Ellis Ross, whatever we're calling him. No, I just don't know. Other than him, I don't know who they got. Like, don't get me wrong, they got the two white boys that can hit a three here and there, but for the most part, like, I mean, they're pump fake drive, pump fake drive. It's like it's almost predictable at this point. So I think it's gonna be really interesting for Indiana too, because they're a 4 seed right now. I don't know if that's staying. I think they're gonna end up dropping for low time especially if I think they're like 2 losses away from dropping even. So they need to pick it up. The fan of me is Notre Dame, Virginia. I'm just interested to see if Notre Dame can be competitive. Almost stole it from Duke. That was watching into that game. That was very, very interesting. They almost got it, man. I'm glad it was on both sides of that because I would have definitely been depressed if I was only on the money line. I had to do the +12 because I'm like, man, I don't want to be depressed if
every now and then
I mean,
I get a game where it's like, bro, fuck the spread, dog. +400, we riding, dog. I don't give a damn.
Hey, I mean, I don't lie. It was I think like 62-68 at one point, the minute left, and then Duke just hit like one big three that kind of like rolled in. It's like, man, there it goes. But yeah, the whole Mike Bray. I'm gonna take back that Mike Bray funeral flowers and the coffin.
Right.
We're gonna take all that back, and we're gonna see what happens at the end of the season because I know what's going on with him. Kentucky, Tennessee. That's another one. This is another one of those. I don't know what to call it. Basically, like I don't want to say they're like gods or anything, but like the god status. Let's see, because Kentucky's been borderline awful this season for Kentucky standards, and then Tennessee, they're on the wrong side of a few buzzer beaters lately, and it's just I feel like that's a get right game for both teams, but I don't know if I can trust Kentucky, man.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. Kentucky only has one quadrant one win, and it's against Tennessee this season. And if they don't pick it up, right now
I forgot they played.
Right now they're out the tournament.
So they aren't last one in anymore. They're for sure out.
Right now, their first 4 out with Oregon, USC, and Wisconsin. It's a huge game for Kentucky.
RIP.
I don't think they win this game, but it is a huge game for them. They are at home, luckily. I don't know what's going on with Calipari, man. His recruiting. I think the whole college landscape caught up with him because he was the first guy to be like, come to here, play for 1 year, and we'll get you to the league. And now everybody's pretty much on the same wave, so he's not getting those best talents that want to just go to the
I think
league.
it's partially that, along with the fact that, like you said, due to the transfer portal, I think college is like wide open now. Like before, it was like, hey, you want to go to like the NBA, you got to go Kentucky, you got to go like Gonzaga. I guess you got to go to like Gonzaga was a little bit. They weren't the biggest schools. It was like, hey, you got to go here. You can go to Purdue, but you got to be like the star of Purdue if you want to do that. Now it's like, hey, you go somewhere and you're really good, like you'll get nationally televised, like people will get seen. I think social media has helped this a lot too. It's like, hey, you'll get seen, like you just gotta go somewhere and ball out. So now, especially too, like I feel like there's a lot of these big guys that are getting looked at, and then they're missing the little under guys, and then those little under guys go to like Vanderbilt, and then they play Kentucky. It's like, hey, Calipari, watch this, and he drops 40 on them. But I said there's only 3 other games I like to. One of them, simply for the home court factor, Villanova Providence, 14-0 home court. Let's see if we can get the 15-0 boys. Come on, love to see it. Then the last two are the ranked games. I'm sure you'll be talking about here soon. Iowa State, Kansas State. Not the most interested in this game. It's just it's a ranked matchup. So I'm interested. I'm like, all right, let's see who's the worst Big 12 team between these two, because man, do I hate both these teams as of late, because Iowa State's been kind of burning me on the opposite end. I've been I guess like I can't say I've been fading them when they're 17-8. But I'm at least on like 6 of those 8 losses, I feel like. And then they started winning lately. And then it's made me a little bit mad. And Kansas State's the opposite. I've been betting Kansas State and they've been kind of like dog butt. So I don't know. I feel like that's a game where it's like we're gonna see. Is Iowa State? Do we have what seed are they? Because I couldn't 4. They're a 4. And Kansas State's a 3. Like that. I wasn't even gonna. I can't even say what I was gonna say because I did not expect them to be a 3 and 4 seed. But
No, that's what I said like 20 minutes ago. Kansas State, a 3 seed, is out of line, bro.
yeah, I think those are like 5, 6 seeds maybe. But I mean, regardless, it's gonna be an interesting game to see because they're basically both these two teams are fighting for seeding. Because I'm assuming one loses to the other, especially like if Kansas State loses to Iowa State, there's a chance they flip. Iowa State becomes a 3 seed. Kansas State drops to a 4 or 5. But if Iowa State loses, I mean, with how the rest of the league's been shaping out, could get sketchy because I think they've lost. Before I get into this last game, let me check real quick. I think they've lost a few as of recent. Okay, so they beat TCU, which was the game I was thinking of with TCU earlier. But yeah, lost to Oklahoma State, lost to West Virginia, beat Kansas, but then lost to Texas Tech, lost to Missouri, beat Kansas State, but then lost to Oklahoma State, and then they beat Texas, lose to Kansas. Like they were just all over the map basically as of late at the end of the season. So I don't have a really good gauge on them. This would be a really good game to see how they respond on the road to a Kansas State team who's also been struggling but due to win. And then the final one, I'm really excited for. This is the first game. This is probably the only game in this besides the last game I just named on this slate so far that I've said that I don't know what side I'm on. Baylor, Kansas. I really don't. I want to ride Kansas because that
They hot right
the
now.
home record for Bill Self is immaculate all time. The all-time home record is just something different. But I don't know. Baylor's pretty good.
I think
That's
Baylor is
tough
the
for me.
best team in the Big 12. I think Kansas is the hottest team in the Big 12.
Oh, it's 1 and 2 in Big 12. I thought Baylor was still a 3 in Big 12 or whatever. I didn't realize they were.
Nah, they've been under the radar, man. Last 9-10 games, they've been under the radar, best team in the country. I've been trying to tell some people.
Hey, they've been winning, man. Yeah, other than that loss to Texas, I think it's 7, 8, 9. They've won 9 of their last 10. The only loss being Texas. That's about as hot as you can get, honestly. I mean, I might say they might be the hotter team than Kansas, honestly.
Yeah, over the last 10 games, yeah. Over the last 3, Kansas has turned back into the Kansas we expected.
I know, but we can't just ignore those losses. Kansas State, TCU, Baylor, and they lost to Baylor last time out, 75-69. So we got a little revenge game going right here.
I'm gonna tell you something, and I'm gonna tell the world in a minute. But I'm gonna give a little sneak peek. I'm gonna be on Baylor, bro, plus the points. I think.
Ooh,
Kansas,
you got them.
I think
You got them coming out plus points.
Baylor on the road at Kansas.
I mean, I don't know. They might favor them. No, I think you're right though. Honestly, I just don't think it'll be that big. Almost.
Yeah, I got +3. Is the number I got.
Oh, that's perfect. Then that's a little bit. I thought it might be like +2, +1, where it's almost like, hey, we aren't giving you any value in this game. You got to just pick a side and ride.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna take the +3 or 4, whatever it comes out to be. Kansas, even if they do win, I think they win by 1 or 2. I don't know. It is gonna be a good ass game.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think that's one of the reading through the list. I'm like, man, I'm actually kind of excited to watch that game.
I know. You know what I'm pissed off about? Michigan State. My favorite game of the year. 7:00 p.m. Fox on Saturday.
Wow, I've scrolled right over that game. I didn't even see it. It's kind of depressing because I would definitely name that too. You got to look. State matchups are always a bit testy, but I won't even lie to you. You said that, I sort of have myself up. Then oh yeah, it's Juwan Howard.
Juwan,
damn near deranged Tom Izzo at this point because he's so old that he might be going senile.
Whoa,
no, I think it should be a decent. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just playing. I think it should be a decent matchup
on this show. That's the one. There's the one person you can't talk about badly on this show. It's Tom Izzo.
I respect it. He's actually a really good coach. It's just it's to the point now where he is older now. So I honestly forgot he was still there for a minute. Just because he's been around so long, he's like a staple. It's like, yeah, the one coach over there, he's been there for a minute. But no, I feel like I would want to favor Michigan. I don't even know who's home, who's away. Well, not just straight on the outside. I would want to like lean Michigan State a little bit, but
yeah, I think it's something.
I don't know that.
I'm giving all my numbers away, but Michigan State +4 is the number I got. 4.5. Michigan's at home, man. I don't know. I think Michigan State's gonna be a plus money. Also with the shooting and everything, they haven't played in like a week.
I just can't trust that Michigan team, man. I'm over that team, honestly. I'm about over both these teams. I'll be honest. Like from watching point, I hate to say it because I know you're a fan of both, but I'm glad both these teams aren't in the tournament, man. From watching them all year, they've been pissing me.
Michigan State a 5 seed.
Michigan. Oh yeah, they are 5
7 seed. My bad.
Michigan
State's gonna be in the tournament, bro.
Yeah, they aren't that bad.
I don't know.
I guess it's more directed towards Michigan, but Michigan State's just had a few bad losses for me that I remember them kind of like, I'm kind of tired of seeing them, but I don't know. I just feel like both those teams' play styles are. I don't know. I feel like Michigan State could definitely do maybe some damage in the tournament, but I don't see them making it to Sweet 16, sadly.
Fine.
I feel like they're just going to end up. I mean, you look at their division, like Tennessee, Rutgers, Xavier, Miami. I just feel like they're going to end up rolling into somebody unlucky enough, and then that team's just going to be potentially like they're going to end up rolling into Miami by accident,
and shutting their ass down.
We'll see, man. I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you something about Michigan State, like bro. That's my real favorite team. I rock with Syracuse because that's been my favorite team for longer. But Michigan State is my real favorite team, bro. So everything I say about Michigan State is biased. However, they definitely go into the Elite Eight or the Final Four this season. Mark my words.
I mean, I just feel like if they stay in the South, they're gonna have a rough road.
Yeah, I got them beating UCLA in the second round somehow, and then beating.
I know you don't believe that yourself.
Oh, trust me, I do.
You talked yourself into it, or do you actually got like some stuff that you've seen that's like, oh, I think they could actually do it?
I'm gonna say this.
So it's faith. We got it.
60% of me is talking myself into this, but there's 10%. I don't know why 60 and 10 equals 100, but it does. 10% of me. I'm gonna break them down in a week or two, but this team is one of the best teams that nobody talks about. One of the best defensive teams in the country. Their best scorer has been hurt all season. He's literally been coming back on restricted minutes the last 4 to 6 games. They got on.
That's actually game changing.
Yeah, Joey Howes has been stepping it up, and both of their guards are coming into their rhythm right now. And then this little young cat Atkins is finally realizing he's getting the mental aspect of the game down. And I don't know, man. I think this team has a lightning bolt behind them. And then honestly, I hate to say this, man, but this is how you know I'm a sports fan first. I think this shooting is going to bring them together. Give them something to play for.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even play that into a factor. Wow. I won't lie. I totally forgot about Hauser. I love that dude. I watched him. What was it? Like, I think 2 games ago when he was just lighting it up and he dropped like 25. That dude can stroke it. Let me tell you what. But no, honestly, I do take that. Like the sports better in me. Sorry to like steal your thunder a little bit, but there's three golden rules that I live by. I'm assuming you're very similar. There's death games, jersey retirement games, and I guess the third one would technically be like tragedy games. So like, for example, the Michigan State shooting, that counts as like a tragedy game. So Michigan State only played 1 game. You for sure got to like hammer them. They're like this next game upcoming. Like after this, now that I think about it, like I think they're probably going to beat Michigan just because of all the stuff going on. I do agree. I think that this could be, if they use this the right way, this could be like huge momentum for Michigan State to like kind of do what the Bills should have done, I guess, in a way. It's like the Bills had, but I feel like the Bills, to bring it back to football, even though I know I probably shouldn't. Bills had a lot going on this season. Like they dealt with the shootings, the weather, the deaths, and all that, and they were able to turn it around into something special. Now, obviously, they didn't make it as far, but this is I hate to use tragedy in a way like this, but this is a good time for, like you said, Michigan State could come together as a unit. And yeah, I take back everything I said. Like it's just me disagreeing with you because you allowed me to come on your show and everything. But I actually do agree. I think they got like a realistic shot because like you said, they are a very sneaky defensive team and underrated sneaky defensive team. And then all you need is like that one thing to catalyst you. Basically, it feels like. And this, it's gonna be interesting to see like you said, Saturday we're gonna see how they respond. I think that they respond well to the shooting, how everything went. I think that it could lead a long way into them doing decent. Especially, I know Tom Izzo's gonna. I know he's gonna have the boys ready.
100%, man. Michigan State to the Final Four. Get your tickets now, people. No, I'm kidding. Take all wagers at your own responsibility, whatever the fucking saying is, at your own risk. My man, Jaden Chandler Parnell. Every week we say we'll do 15 to 25 minutes, and we talk for 50.
I thought today might be a real under day too, because
And
first day of college basketball. Man, was I wrong?
I love every minute of it, man. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Next week, we can dive a little deeper into this bracket. 2 weeks from now, I mean, we'll be at the championship weekend, so we'll really get an idea of things going on over these next few weeks. And I haven't even asked you this yet, but I don't know if you want to come on like the Monday or Tuesday before the tournament, once the bracket is officially out, and break it down with me and give your takes and your
Probably.
picks.
I'll probably be down. Yeah, I can let you know, obviously, with the schedule and everything. But that probably should work out for me, honestly.
Yes, sir, my man.
Before I go, just to know, who's your very super early favorite to win it all?
Oh man.
I think we should do it every Friday. We're gonna give it. I feel like we should give it out, and we'll see how it changes until tourney time.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I have no idea. If I set a team right now, it'd be
Who you
Alabama
leaning
or
towards?
UCLA, man. Honestly, I think Houston gets to the Final Four and Arizona gets to the Elite Eight. But I don't know. Honestly, though, I could see Alabama losing in the first round. I just said UCLA is going to lose to Michigan State in the second round. But Alabama and UCLA would be the two teams.
Honestly, I hate that you say that, because like as of right now, I think mine was. I hate to say and just be like agree with you, but I think mine was like Alabama, Houston. I know it's very basic because they're both 1 seeds, but no, sorry, it was either Alabama and Baylor or Houston Baylor. I don't remember which one it was, but I just watched a game where Baylor, like I watched their 2 guards shoot the absolute lights out of a gym, and I did like watching the way they flowed, and I can't remember the dude's name, begins with a Y, but just watching like the way their offense flowed and like that, I'm like, man, if they could shoot like this in the tourney for multiple games, then they should have no issue winning. Especially like I think last year, which year where they had a really magical run and lost to Kansas, I want to say. I can't remember exactly, but they had I thought a decent run, and they lost to somebody good, I feel like.
No,
I don't know. I just feel like as of right now, Houston and them, and then for Houston, I mean, Houston just beats everybody by what they're projected to, except for last night. But yeah, I think Houston's a really good squad overall. I mean, not their fault. They can't cover 15.5 spreads, or they get 16, 17.5 spreads all the time. But there's a reason they do. They're that good of a team, man. I just feel like, yeah, they've been hunting. They've been. I don't know what the right word to use for this is, but they've been, I guess, like an old saying my friend used to say, they've been lingering like a smelly fart. Like they've been the past few years, they've just been around, inching their way. And I think potentially this is a year for them to break in, because I can't tell you one dude in their squad, because they got a bunch of dudes. I feel like that start. I feel like they do a really good job of, like, obviously, I'm sure you can name a few potentially, or like people who actually have done a little bit more research than me can like name a few. But I just like watching them as like, I don't try to remember names, obviously, because there are too many names to remember, but just watch them as a unit. I think they have really good flow as a unit. And you cannot take that away from teams, because it's usually what helps is being able to know like what your guy's going to do next to you.
No, I love that Baylor, man. I love Baylor. Baylor is one of my favorite teams going into the tournament. But yeah, Baylor, Houston, and UCLA have all been in the Final Four like 3 out of the last 4 or 5 years. And one of them's definitely going to break through and get a title. I don't know which one. I like Houston.
Maybe that boy, Ami Jaquez.
That boy's nice. That boy is nice. Houston is one of the teams that can play run and gun, and they can play slow down. Baylor more has their pace, and UCLA more has their pace. But I like Houston because I think they can adapt to whoever they're playing against, and they could drop 90 or they could drop 45. However you want to get it, we can.
That's
the
only thing that sucks with them. Yeah, that's the only thing that will suck. Though. There are some days that they might be like, "Hey, we need to score 90 this game," and then they drop 45. Because I don't think, knock on wood, I don't think they've had a stinker, too bad of a stinker recently yet either. So due to the number 1 like seed curse, it means they're due.
Yes, sir.
Not good.
I would throw one more team out there since you asked. Virginia. I love Virginia.
I thought you were gonna say Michigan State. I won't even lie. I thought we were gonna get it in.
Nah, I'm trying to be realistic. You asked me who I think is gonna win.
That's why I didn't
UCLA,
say Purdue.
UCLA, Bama, Virginia. I love Baylor that you said. In Houston, those are probably the top 5 teams, man, going into this tournament. Honestly, next week
Hold on.
we can really break those teams down because I don't know, man. I can't wait. That's all
Said
I'm
Baylor,
gonna say.
UCLA, Bama, and who?
Virginia in Houston.
I just want to write these. I'm writing this down because you being the basketball expert, I'm going to be curious to follow the trends and see who you like going into each of these following weeks. 'Cause, yeah, I'm just a sports stooge. I don't know. I don't know the most about college basketball, but I know enough to hold a conversation, I guess. So
I'll say this real quick before you leave. January 26th, my Final Four was Michigan State, Virginia, UCLA, Bama. February 2nd, it was UCLA. This is how you know I'm off a little bit. UCLA, North Carolina, Houston, and Bama. The 7th
that
of
boy Big
February,
Cock.
trash. Nah, that boy cold as hell. I just
Hey,
UNC pissing me off this year. But
bro, I feel you.
February 7th, I had UCLA, Arizona, Virginia, Houston, and then today I had Baylor, Arizona, Miami, Michigan State.
Michigan State, hey, they're just sneaking their way back in. I can tell the weeks they lose the big game and then the weeks they don't because you see them disappear and they win a big game. It's like, hey, they got a shot.
I honestly think they're the most under the radar team. Honestly, I don't know why people aren't talking about Baylor either. Baylor and Michigan State to me are the two most under the radar teams as far as nobody's talking about them. But that's the thing with the tournament. Everybody talks
I was saying
about
same thing with like the Chiefs too. Like everyone talks like I was about to say everyone wants to talk about like the new bright shiny toy, but not the toy that's been sitting in the shelf for 3 years that's consistently there when you need it.
yeah, nah, yeah. Everybody talks about the 1 seeds and the 2 seeds, and then everybody tries to go and be like some fortune teller on this. Oh, Oral Roberts and Creighton and the sleepers, and nobody ever really talks about the actual good teams that can go into this tournament and consistently do damage.
I agree with that. Yeah, that's the biggest like I said with like the Chiefs thing. It's like sometimes people like, especially with this tourney, everyone wants to be like, all right, who's going to be that 13, 12 seed that makes it to the Sweet 16 that ruins like this team? I'm going to like predict that one. It's like, hey, sometimes man, like just don't overthink it. Like for example, I'll say like drag this back to my show a little bit. Like when I overthought it a little bit. I tried to be smarter than like everyone else while I was making my prediction for I'm like, you know what? Rams are going to go back to back. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl again with how good they've done. And
A lot of
they
people
might have
did.
been worse than the Colts. Might have been worse than the Colts. I won't even lie to you. But it's just like that thing where it's like, oh, the bright, shiny. Like this is why I'm so mad at myself. It's like, oh, look, the bright, shiny new Troy. They wish won all this. And meanwhile, we're just sitting here. Mahomes has been the 5 straight AFC championships. They've been the 5 like AFC title games of the team. It's like that's why I feel like I agree with you. Like Houston, Baylor, like some of these schools getting looked at. It's like, oh, they always go to the Final Four, though, so they'll make it there, but they aren't going to go any farther than that. It's like, why not though? Especially this year when it feels like it's the most open it's ever been. Like, why not though?
Nah, man. Yeah. Kansas, I think, is a step lower than they were last year. Duke is like 3 steps lower than they were last year. Gonzaga's like 10 steps lower than they were last year. I think it's wide open
Gonzaga's
for
Drew Timmy and a bunch of role players.
Drew Timmy, my dog, losing in the second round this year. No, I'm playing.
Right. That's for 1 loss, and then that's the second round loss. No, I love that celebration. No, that was cool. Man, what's happening with Gonzaga? Rough. I hope they can get a decent turning run. I'm so sad they didn't get a chance to win when they had these like past like 12 years. Mainly for their coach. I know we run a little long, but like I just feel bad for their coach because I think he's really good, but he's always going to get judged because he took all these good Gonzaga teams. Like, well, they have a cupcake schedule and they lose in the NCAA tourney every year. That's all you hear. But it's like, man, you don't realize like the dynastic stuff he was doing in that conference. It's like 2012 is crazy. And
Nah, I
then the
think
fact
he's.
that
If you take St.
Crazy.
Mary's and BYU out, and my number's gonna be wrong on this, but if you take those 2 teams out, which he only lost to those 2 teams 10 times, so you take those.
I think it's like
127 and 1.
it's ridiculous. Like it, and it's just like this year they had a really bad year, so everyone's like kind of discrediting him and everything. It's like, man, I don't think you got like you said, it's impossible to win the NCAA tourney. Like as much as like in the NFL, you need luck to break right your way to make a run in the playoffs. Like for the NCAA tourney, luck and some. You need luck. You need luck for about like 3 weeks, basically, during the conference tourney, the selection Sunday, and then the open the tourney. Like it's crazy. All it
No,
takes is like Liberty getting, like UNC Asheville, Morehead State, Alcorn State, 3 games in a row, and all of a sudden they're in the Sweet 16 just because they got a fortunate schedule.
it's all about seeding. Like right now, Gonzaga, they have Yale, which they win by 30. They beat Yale by
Yeah,
30. Then they have to face UConn potentially. If they beat UConn somehow, which I don't think they do this year, then they got to play Kansas potentially. Like just to get to the Sweet 16 or just to get to the Elite Eight, they have to beat UConn and Kansas. And then if they get there, it looks like they facing Arizona or Virginia.
yeah, that's you want to talk about unlucky. I mean, they just ran through like what? I think you just ran through like 2 or 3 of the favorites to win the whole damn tourney. They got to play them in a round of 32.
Yeah, and then if they get to the Final Four, who knows who they run into? But I mean, it could easily be Alabama or Baylor. I think it'll be Baylor.
Uh, I probably agree. I
I
don't
don't
lie
know.
to you. I've been looking at some of these futures for. I'm mad. FanDuel only has Final Four features. I wish they had Sweet 16, but they don't just yet. So I've just been looking like some of the teams and odds. It's just some of these odds are crazy, man. Like I won't lie to you. Like they got Purdue's odds at one point to make the Final Four. I don't think they are anymore, but they were like plus like 200-300s. Like, do you not know the same Purdue team I do? They have not made the Final Four since I was like a yee little boy.
They plus 165 right now to make the Final Four on my book.
Get out of here! Like as a Purdue fan, they aren't making the Final Four. Like this is, I won't lie to you. Like just this will be one of the last things I say because I know we've been trying to end it for a minute now. I just as a Purdue fan, like bro, this is the worst Purdue team. Like for the number one seed they have, this is the worst like Purdue team I've seen in my like lifetime. Obviously, like they aren't terrible, but if you compare them to the good teams, like this is one of the worst good teams. They have 2 freshman guards. It's Zach Edey and then 2 freshman guards, and that's basically all they have. And the fact they've done with it this year is like I'm impressed. I thought this was going to be a year that they could step back and do awful, but like they had the years where they had like each one more Robbie Hummel. They had Carson Edwards dropping 45. Like they got Zach Edey getting beat up down low. They got Braden Smith, who's a freshman with a really sick goatee. I love it. They got Fletcher Lawyer, who looks like he's 12. They got Mason Gillis, who's been there as long as I've been alive, it feels like, just sitting in the corner shooting threes. And they got that team plus 165.
Hey man,
Sports.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of
Maybe
value
they're
out
just
there.
doing it so I don't bet on them. I think they're doing it just so I don't bet on them. They're tired of taking my money, I feel like, because. No, I won't lie to you, though. Like 165 for the Final Four, that's crazy. Because I don't think Purdue. I would love to be wrong, by the way. I'm not. This is not just me bashing them as a fan, but yeah, I don't see them being a Final Four team. Hate to say it.
Now I will throw this out there. We were talking about Baylor a minute ago. There's a lot of value on Baylor right this second to win the conference. They're plus 200. If you think they're gonna beat Kansas this weekend, I think they win the conference. Also, for Baylor to go to the Final Four is plus 350, and then national championship for Baylor is plus 1600.
Ooh, that national championship is nice. I'll admit, like I plus 350. I wish it was like 5 or 6, but plus 350 is not bad at all either.
Nah,
I think honestly, I think that's a real. They have a realistic chance, especially because like, so if they play teams in the Midwest, I mean, they're looking at Oklahoma State, NC State, Creighton, Oral Roberts, Iowa State, Drake. Like their hardest teams are probably Arizona and Alabama because they're Baylor. Like those are probably maybe St. Mary's, just because I want to give respect to St. Mary's this year. But
I
I
do
mean,
too. But at the end of the day, St.
it's Baylor
Mary's.
though.
Nah, yeah, I think Baylor is very underrated, bro. I've been saying it. I know you watch my show, but I've been saying it for like a month now that Baylor is the most under the radar team.
Yeah, I'm real excited to see what they do. I'm ready to watch them make some noise because I think they maybe lose but cover on Saturday. I'm not going to give out a for sure prediction because who even knows at this point. But I don't know. I feel like they might not win the conference because I don't know. I need to check the leads and everything. But even if they
Man,
don't win the conference, yeah, I think they're due for a deep tourney run.
bracketology just updated 20 minutes ago, and they have Kentucky and North Carolina playing in one of those Tuesday Wednesday playing games. and they have Wisconsin and Clemson playing in one of those games. Those are gonna be some good Tuesday, Wednesday games.
I like that. Yeah, I just pulled it. I just pulled up the bracket too. Man, that's good. Wisconsin, like you said, Wisconsin, Clemson, Kentucky, North Carolina. I think that might be the two of the best 11-team matchups we've had in the past few years.
Yeah, last year was pretty good. I forgot who it was. It was Indiana and somebody, and then it
Rutgers.
was
I
it
feel
was
like
Indiana Rutgers. I thought it was
I think
Rutgers
so.
Notre Dame.
It might have been. I just remember
I know it was
Our
Rutgers
boy-
Notre Dame actually.
our
I
boy
just
Steph
don't wanna-
Curry I think our boy Steph Curry went off against in the tournament in the play-in last year a little bit. I just remember him hitting like 2 clutch shots. I can't remember when, but I think that was a round of 11 game. I just remember. I don't want to butcher his name. I think Tomanaka. Or is it the wrong one? I feel so bad. Whoever it was, we talked about it. He lit up whoever it was.
Are you talking
I
about the
can't- I
little
can't
Chinese dude with the headband?
Yes, sir, bro. He went off. I could be totally wrong and think it's somebody else, but I could have sworn he went off and like that. It wasn't like off, but he dropped like a solid 12-15 against whoever it was at Little Team. Because I literally remember them watching him play in some like old crickety gym. Like, man, this boy is dicing him up a little bit.
Yes, sir. They moved. Man, my bad. This whole bracket just updated and it's throwing me off. Everything we
I
just
know.
talked
I
about.
like
is
how we're literally
thrown out
about
the
to get
window.
off, and now this whole bracket changed. Basically, everything we just talked about, it all changed.
Yeah.
IU's down to a 5 now after their loss. Xavier's a 5 seed. I
Man.
want to see the 4. Miami's a 4 now, and the side IU was.
Yeah, UConn moved up to a 4. Whew.
Ravi's a 7 now. They play Boise State.
Ooh, that's a tough draw, man.
I know. Hey, if they beat them though, they're playing. Oh, they
Texas.
play. They have to play Tennessee or Illinois. Yeah, if I had to guess. Ooh,
Man.
that's rough.
That Memphis.
That ticket.
Nah, yeah, I want to go through this whole bracket now. 'Cause we do a
I might have
3-hour
to-
show. This is Captain by a hook with the red beard. No, I'm playing.
Damn near, bro. This is. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see the bubble real quick. I'll look at that a little bit before I go. Last 4 in, I like. First 4 out. Charleston, who I mentioned as a joke a little bit, was just in. Now they're out. Not a little shocking. USC being out. That's the. USC and I think Utah State are going to be my 2 favorites to watch for the teams that are out on the bubble to come in. I think those are the 2 teams that have the best chance, but I don't know. College basketball's been a little too weird for me to
Now the Pac-12. I ain't gonna lie. I was trying
predict.
to get behind this USC, but they let me down a couple games. Utah State, believe it or not, is one of my favorite teams to bet. Me and my boy G Money Grant be on Utah State hard, boy. We be riding them boys. We be riding Richmond too, but we be riding Utah State.
I don't even know what the record was. I think I've bet them like maybe twice this year so far. I just know that they are. I know they've been good because I've been slowly just following a bit, and I just obviously because the next 4 out they've been somewhat good, but yeah, I just know that they're one of the better teams. Looking at this list, like I know Seton Hall's New Mexico. Is New Mexico the one that's dealing with all the? That's New Mexico State.
Yeah,
Never mind.
New Mexico's one of the teams that was ranked before they started losing.
That's what it was. They were the 4th. They were the last undefeated team, and then just have basically fallen apart since. That's what it was.
Yeah, they went from like 14-0 to 19-7. Something like
Hey,
that.
that's how it
I don't
be
know the exact
sometimes.
numbers. That's how it's going. That's what's happening with a lot of these schools, bro. Charleston won 22 straight, and now I think they lost like 3 of their last 4. A lot of these teams, people was like,
26-3, yeah.
this is the best team in the country. Watch out for these boys. Like, then they just
They lose.
yeah. And then you look at the quad 1, and I don't even like quadrants, but it does make sense. And it's like, bro, if you 23-4 and 0-4 in quadrant 1, don't expect them to make a run in the tournament, dog.
Yeah.
They good against quadrant 4, okay? They blow them out, but there's levels to this.
Oh, yeah, they might do make a little bit of noise. It's I hate to say it, but it's like how a lot of people thought TCU would be against Michigan. And then it's how people thought TCU would be against Georgia. Like, hey, they might put up a fight in like one of these games and make it a little competitive, but I don't know if they're doing it 2 games. Hate to say it.
Nah,
Obviously, respect all those players, but there's a reason that you guys are at Charleston and not playing
Right.
USC versus like Bama, stuff like that. There's a reason.
no, definitely.
Hate to break it to you, but Hey, I played low level too. You guys are still higher level than me, but hate to be that guy. Sorry.
But yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. We've been going for an hour and 10 minutes. I love you to death. My man Jaden Chandler Parnell. We'll be back next Friday to break down some more of the bracket. Check him out on the JC Pod. Always insightful, always entertaining. My man Jaden Chandler Parnell. Also, you can follow him on Twitter at Jaden95Chandler. Big dog. Appreciate you for coming.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you again for having me on. And yeah, looking forward to having it, man. We got a home and home series coming up, like I mentioned to you before earlier. I'll definitely have you on to break down some March Madness for me as well. But yeah, quick announcement before I go. I decided on the spot, no video this week. We had one video this week usually, but before then, usually like my podcast is always good for. I'm gonna try to shoot for 2 to 3 a week, just because. Yeah, I've been the most consistent as of late, but it's the madness, baby. I got to get into it a little bit. Yet again, yeah, thank you for having me on, and I look forward to that Monday when that. I definitely love coming on the Fridays, but man, that Monday when the bracket come out, it's going to be a great, great time. But yeah, thank you again, and I'll see you on Friday, my good sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My dog, Jaden Chandler Parnell. Me and him get to talking, and we get to talking. I'm running late for everything now. Anyway, I'm gonna run through these games real quick. I hate to do it to y'all. I was about to just give them out without breaking them down. Maybe I will, man. F it. There's 3 more weeks in the season. Y'all can get one a lackadaisical week. You just gotta trust your boy sometimes. Give me Virginia minus 11. This is Saturday slate, by the way. Saturday slate, my numbers. Just to explain it to everybody that don't know, now you know. Numbers have not came out yet. This is my numbers. This is my projections. You write these down, draw a line, write the real numbers down, bet the difference on the good side. If you don't know how to do that, you shouldn't be betting anyway. Give me Virginia minus 11. Give me Illinois plus 3.5. Give me UConn minus 4. Give me Rutgers minus 1.5. Tennessee minus 2.5. Give me Texas, good old Texas boys. Give me minus 5.5. Iowa State plus 2.5. Miami, the Hurricanes at home. Give me them minus 4.5. Give me Florida plus 6. Give me Stephen F. Austin, and the F stands for covers minus 3. Give me Baylor plus 3. Give me Xavier minus 7. Give me Villanova plus 5.5. Give me Alabama minus 4.5. Gonzaga minus 13.5. Creighton minus 2.5. UCLA, the mighty Bruins. Give me them at minus 14.5. Syracuse, the Orangemen. Give me them at plus 7.5. Arizona Wildcats minus 11. And then give me the Spartans of Michigan State plus 4.5. This has been Captain by a Hook with the red beard, Rowan Donaghy, a.k.a. Rowan Dives. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for subscribing. Big things coming to this channel literally as we speak. Again, thank y'all for the love. Thank y'all for the support. Please take all wagers at your own risk, and please gamble responsibly.